I think India has been ready for a long time. Uh, I think at this stage, India is ready for takeoff because I think we have already seen about 10, 15 years of development in the internet space, and a lot of companies came in much earlier when the market was not fully mature. I think with almost like 300 million users now on the internet and consumption of data becoming more accessible to everybody, I think people are going to go on internet much more than ever. And if you look at the trends in e-commerce and what we are seeing at OLX, where people are buying and selling pre-owned stuff, our data is showing some tremendous, growth. And from where we started to where we are, I think the future looks extremely great. And this is a great time for both consumers and the internet companies or entrepreneurs to jump in and participate in this, fantastic businesses. Yeah. Personally, I have a view that both products and services have an equal, potential to grow. The difference between products is that in India, which typically happens because India is such a large market and everybody, kind of goes after the same thing, there has been too much competition, and the differentiation that people used was pricing. So if you start using pricing as a differentiator, then it doesn't take you very far. You have to use other mechanisms like convenience, variety, because e-commerce is a lot about that. It's less about price. It's about price also, but I think the convenience of buying the stuff, sitting at home and saving hours to go to a mall, and paying a parking fees of 100 rupees. I think it's really great. Why product services companies are doing well is there the convenience factor is becoming very, very useful. Because you're sitting at home and ordering food or ordering some other stuff, booking tickets. I think those are stuff which people are realizing. To some extent, I think it's happening in e-commerce also, but it's happening to a small set of users. The larger set of users are still looking at price as this thing. But as the market is maturing, you might want price sometime. But in half of the times when you have to shop a gift for a friend living in different cities, I think you are going to use convenience. You're going to use other benefits of online. So product and services both I see tremendous potential. It's just that too much competition right now. See, if you look back 8 months back, I think we were not in a great shape. Our data cost, if you go by purchasing power parity, was one of the highest in the world. If you look at many countries, even countries in the neighboring places that we see are much better. Speeds, usage because of that was extremely low. But the last 6-7 months have seen a disruption. And if this continues like this for another year or so, I think we probably will there'll be a dramatic shift, in fact a paradigm shift from the way India was in the past and what India is going to be. So I guess that with data consumption getting cheaper, there will be a certain shift on usage of internet, and more people will try out more things because they will not hesitate because of data. And more sites, more businesses, including content, entertainment, will actually see themselves growing. I think it's like a sport. There cannot be one person, driving the whole game. It's not an individual game. That's why if you look at it, many of us have struggled in the last 10 years because none of us been able to take a curve out. It's not one person who does that. It's a collective ecosystem of people who are building businesses, people who are building the ecosystem, people who are building the enabled services. I think it happens all together. And in India, I think I have a fantastic analogy for there. If you go back to the real estate sector, the buildings come up first and the roads come up later. In India, that's been typically the fundamental thinking, the way we work, because certain things move faster sometimes and they realize that after some time you cannot grow from there. So the roads have to come up. I think the roads are coming up now, with the data access are coming up now. Now the internet companies, now the enabled services will be able to move much more faster because that's some good basics are in place. See, Indian entrepreneur, I think, is more than ready. I'll tell you the reasons. The reason is that we are not We're not talking about starting up businesses today. Companies have started in late 1990s. There are companies which are like Make My Trips and so on. Fantastic businesses which have been built. But they have built businesses, they have to run a marathon. So in the last 15 years, there are many entrepreneurs who have come up. And in the last 3-4 years, another crop. I think the first time we have seen ever in this thing that many university students are coming out and not taking up a job and starting businesses. So there's a fundamental shift which has already happened. So there are enough people ready to start businesses. There are enough people already started running great businesses. The question is about fatigue. I think the question is about fatigue. Question is about unlearning. Because when market changes, there are certain things which you could not do 3 years back, which you can do it now. So the question for all users is how fresh we are in terms of our thinking, how much we are ready to unlearn and learn, and how much we are ready to further experiment and not give us this thing, oh, I've done this. This is not going to happen. No, we have to continuously hit. My favorite saying for India is that I think there are certain markets around the world which when they say the iron is hot, you strike it when the iron is hot. In India, we have been striking at the iron really hard for so many years to make it hot. And I think we are getting hot right now. So let's work this out. Let's in the next few years, this is a great time when the ecosystem is also developing. Great entrepreneurs have come up, they've proven there. Great VCs have come up and looking to invest in the businesses. And I think it's time for us to now create a fantastic recipe. First thing for any entrepreneur to do is not start a business for the lure of money or for fame or for trying to show that I'm an entrepreneur. The real reason for starting an entrepreneur is that you want to solve a problem. I think we go wrong in this all the time. I think you look back out here, if you look at the best entrepreneurs the world has created, they have tried to solve some big problems. So I think all entrepreneurs who want to start, the first thing I would say is, are you solving a problem big enough? The second is, it should be a commitment behind the whole thing. It is not a fad to become an entrepreneur because it's not an easy. Out of 100 companies, maybe 95% fail. So the failure is inevitable. Changing of course is inevitable. So the question out there is how committed you are, how determined you are, and how courageous you are. If you don't have these traits and please don't start because there's no point, because you will just give up at the first chance of it is going to happen. The third thing is, what is the impact you are looking to make, not only for yourself, but for the people you are building it for. I think the customers, how customer centric you are, how you are looking at the customer rather than an investor or rather than a other market or rather looking at yourself. I think third is to become customer centric and ensure that you don't lose that focus and build that focus from beginning to end and keep doing that.